How's everybody doing today? Bam, got a bottle cap. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri. So I wanted to drink a little beer today, and I decided we'll read some comics together. Why not? It's been fun. Somehow they've all been bad. But, when we're together having fun, it just makes it that much better, right? So, got my beer. Got some fruit. Got some comics. Take a look at this. Bam. Look at that. Approved reading. This was Charlton Catholic Comics number 5. And I was just flipping through. I saw this one cover that was incredible. It was a space robot pinup girl comic called, I think it was Out of This World. But when I went in to look for it, I couldn't find it because the Out of This World must have had 2 different publications from, I think it was Ace. I'm not sure. But they only had the pulp version, which was probably earlier. And it had comics in it, but it didn't have the issue that I wanted, which was the cool cover. So this one is obviously a sports comic. I know last time I wanted to read a sports comic. I've been reading a lot of sports manga. So there's one about volleyball that I like, and it's like it's actually showcasing the entire team at this point. But in the beginning, it showcased the little giant or whatever. Shorter kid, he can jump really high and spike the ball. And so that one's pretty fun. I'm reading a ice skating one that's about co-ed team doing ice skating. They're teenagers or whatever. It's pretty fun. I think there's a couple others. I finished the other one. Anyways, so here we go. Notre Dame. I was like, I'll read it, see how it is. It looks like there's going to be, get that out of the way. So it looks like there's going to be multiple stories. As you can see there, it says 100 prizes equal to $1,000, which I think this was the 1950s. I forgot to look, but I forgot to have it ready to look again. But $1,000 in the 1950s is probably like $10,000 now, maybe even more, honestly. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. Let's take a look at this. The cover is, it tells you what it is, but it's not like the greatest cover. Oh, I can't just use. Okay. Let's see what this says. Sports notes. Sonja Henie was the world champion at the age of 13. She represents Norway. It's a book, not a comic, but you have to read Notre Dame versus the Klan based on true events. Oh, thank you. That actually sounds, I'm going to actually highlight that. Well, there it is right there. I'm going to, why does it never, okay, highlight, right click, search. That's how I remember stuff. Okay, so now we're back on track. So I don't know who Sonja Henie is. The good and the bad with this, obviously, is it's an antiquated comic, right? So you're way back in the past. So you're not going to connect with it the same way that a kid would have when they first read this. They would have known who that is. Probably. Maybe. They would have known who Babe Ruth was. And I can't read what that signature says. Harold Red. I can't read that. So what's cool, you can always Google that and go see who that is. I'm not going to do that though. Okay, so we're starting with Bill Brown of Notre Dame. You got obviously somebody punting the ball. Bill Brown, sophomore, star of Notre Dame varsity, provides a thrill and the winning point of Notre Dame's first game of the season. Okay, so I thought it was going to be a punt, but obviously that's a field goal, and you just can't see the holder. He'd be right here. Nice playing, boy. He thinks he's good. Wait until he misses sometime. That's bad writing. Nobody's going to say that. That's sour grapes, Tim. But Bill has other friends. It was wonderful. Oh, look at this. It's a lady. Thanks, Margie. Now I have to hustle to the dining room. I'm on duty tonight. Nice going, Bill. Hurry up now. Thanks, Father. I wanted to celebrate, but work comes first. It's good ethics there. Catholic Comics is letting the boys know. Can't have fun, go to work. How about when you win the big game, you can't have fun. You got to go right to work. How about some service, slowpoke? Hold your horses, mister. Lay off, you two. How about a movie, Bill? I'm behind on my studies, and if that happens, I don't get to play football. But Bill is interrupted again. There's a celebration down at the gym. Too tired and sore. Letters to write home to. Go along without me. This bro never has any fun, man. Dear family, today was my first big game. It was a thrill, and I was lucky. In the first game, or what's that say? In this first quarter, so he's going to write out the whole football game. Oh, and now they're going to narrate it. This isn't like the best, but they could have like structured the story better. And didn't this say he was a sophomore? He's writing it like he's like a freshman, in my opinion. But we'll just don't analyze it too much. Just have fun. I worry over him here. You read it again. He'll take care of himself, mother. Is that his sister? I know, but we worry. Wish I could help him more. Who could that be? Why, I'll go. It's Coach Robbins. Come in. I thought you'd have news from Bill. We're mighty proud of him. He helped win the first varsity game. Coach Robbins of the Buckeye High School remembers Bill's exploits. I hope he does. Let me in, Coach. Let me in. You've done enough already. They'll murder him now. He's made it. It's a touchdown. Bless you, boy. Actually, I've got to say this was better than last week's comic. We're only on page 4, though. But that wasn't his only highlight of that season. We can't let Roger hide down. Beat Buckeye. That's a weird sentence. Your ankle. Can you last the whole game? He wants to try. It's up to the team to help him. Let's go. It's the final game of the season. Big team scouts were watching. It's a tight game, but we'll win yet. We'll keep trying, Coach. Then in the last quarter and a tied score, yes, Rogers, he's got it. Oh, you too, Jen. Bill races for the goalpost. 40 yards and still going. It's a touchdown. The team line up for the kick. That Brown's got something. We have to have him. Plays baseball too, I hear. He's what Notre Dame wants. Like, I guess that sentence makes sense, but I just don't hear like anybody actually saying it in my head. Like, I feel they would say something detailed about what he's doing. I guess it's only probably like an 8-page story though, so yeah. So Bill Brown gets a scholarship at Notre Dame, but at first freshman practice, Brown, you captain this team. He's not so hot. Watch him fumble this. Tim, you should have that place. My bad ankle. Don't get in the way again. What's going on here? Bill, what a shame what happened. Nothing much here. Can't play for 3 weeks, but then I'll show them. They'll practice throwing passes on the advice of his advisor, Father Dominic, every day for 3 weeks. I'll bet the coach will be surprised. Thought he was a kicker. I wonder about this. Back in the day, so this would be like 40s and 50s, did football players like play a plethora of like positions? They would just come in and do whatever? Or is it so like standardized now where, you know, if you're tall, you're like going to be if you're tall and lanky, you're going to be the wide receiver. Or if you're short and stout, you're going to be the running back. And if you're like the coach's son, you're going to be the quarterback. Okay. In the next to the final game of the season, 45-yard, it's good. Oh, you, Brown. Later in the players' dressing room, you are our captain for the rest of the season. Thanks a lot. It's a jip. Bill made good his freshman year. After a summer's work at home, he returned for his second year at the University, a varsity player. Sophomore year is a busy one. He's doing math just like Good Will Hunting. Of all activities, Bill loved football best. His first big chance came in the Navy game. Scoreboard 6-0, Navy. Get in there, Brown. Right, coach. Oh, he missed it. Fourth quarter, Navy tries a pass. Bill grabs the ball and Notre Dame, we want a touchdown. Brown, get going. It's a tie. Brown's all right. What a play. Good night, Navy. This comic is just a little too like fast paced, and there's no like in my opinion, the narrative, the overall like structure of the narrative is like almost non-existent. We'll see it once it gets to the end though. Bill's feat was the talk of the campus. Warning, low grade special examination. Whew. I'm up there for Latin and trig. What will I do? I guess study Latin and trig. I can't play football until I make up those grades. Then you'll just have to study, Bill. These are like storyboards for what the comic should be about. And you could probably like, you know, take some of these ideas out and make it like multiple stories. You could have multiple stories about Bill Brown. Bill's friends take turns helping him. Tria quia primus ab oris. Good. I was probably terrible. The square of the cosine. I'm so tired, I'll never make it. Let's try again. Now take this line. For 2 weeks, Bill continues, and then the day of the exams, you'd better pass. The team needs you. Thanks for your help. I won't let you down. And Bill is listed as passing. You made it, Bill. I prayed hard enough. Now for more football. They should have had a panel of them actually praying if they're going to put that in there. Okay, so now we're back to football. Page 8. This is probably the last of the story. That's a weird drawing at the bottom, too. Bill plays the rest of the season on varsity and keeps his scholastic record high, too. In the final game of the season against Army, it's rolling back. Cover it. Bill sees his chance. 15, 20, 25. He's got it. Come on, Notre Dame. But Army provides strong interference. Carry on, Red. Bill gets the ball back at the 40-yard line. Let's go. Come on, Brown. Bill is the hero of the day. A glorious end to his season on the varsity team. What a season, but wait until next year. Yeah. Photo radio. Is this like a scanner? The romance of photo radio. So I kind of liked the story. You know, the basic message is work hard and you can succeed. Basically. Was it a great comic? Was it a great story? No, it's like pretty lame altogether, but it's better than anything we read last week, in my opinion. All right, let's keep going. The romance of photo radio. So this is going to be probably it looks like it was done by Sid Green. From its inception, the romance of photo radio. Let's see what photo radio is. The microphone. The microphone? General term for the composite effect of multiple variety on-air sound effects that identify brand and market. I feel like I'm probably getting this wrong. Let's just read the comic and see what it says. Okay, establishing the forerunner of today's radio photo. In 1842, an English physicist, Alexander Bain, first designed a device for transmitting pictures by electric wires. So it's a scanner. It's like a copier. That's what I thought based, on the picture. But you never know, right? Then in 1901, a Denson I can never remember how to say that word. Facsimile. I know what it is. Just tell me how to say it. Facsimile. There we go. Facsimile. Okay, let me start over. Then in 1901, a Denson facsimile of telegraph tape was made and modern radio photo was born. It's not too bad. I mean, I like a good history. So I know I've hit on this page way too long. Many other successful experimenters, why didn't they use scientists, laid the groundwork for the first radio photo apparatus in a laboratory form. Produced in 1924 by Radio Corporation of America technicians. On July 6, 1924, this picture of Secretary of State Charles E. Hughes was first photographed to be sent from New York to London and back to New York so they could make sure it worked, right? Since then, the technical achievements have been rapid, and today transmitting pictures across the sea has become routine. Here is what happens after a motorcycle carrier arrives at RCA headquarters with a photograph. This is the English singles tennis champ. Think about that. Like, this was like a big deal. Some kid reading about this, like, oh, you can send pictures across the world in seconds? It probably actually took like a week to get there. After the picture is judged as to its suitability for transmission, it is measured in square centimeters, the international unit of measurement. How'd we let that happen? In the radiogram to London, say we're starting transmission in 12 minutes. Yeah, I said seconds. I said it probably took a week. So just to even start up the machine, it's going to take 12 minutes. Then the picture is taken to the scanning machine and clipped to cylinder. The drum is rotated at a constant speed in synchronism with a similar one rotated on a recorder in London. After synchronism has been effected between the two machines, the scanner projects a dot of light on the picture, and while the cylinder rotates, the spot of light moves along the cylinder until the entire photograph has been scanned. I feel like they could have like showed that instead of like writing it out, right? This diagram shows how the scanner operates. I'm not reading that. Photoelectric cell. So that's like a primitive version of an LED, probably. Solid state device, if you know anything about electricity. The light reflected from the picture during the scanning is collected in a photocell, and these photocells convert light values into electrical currents, which are amplified and relayed on a shortwave station at Rocky Point, LI. Then the signatures are transmitted to London. Okay, what do we got now? In England is a machine identical with the one in New York, except that there is a photographic recorder in front of the cylinder instead of a scanner, and a piece of photographic film wrapped around the cylinder instead of a picture. Within 10 minutes, the entire transmission has been completed, and the film developed in the regular manner in a photographic dark room. Shortly afterwards, RCA in New York receives the following radiogram. Today, radio photos have many other important uses, such as speedily transmitting the latest Paris fashions to U.S. department stores. So advertising. Ships at sea receive daily radio photo weather maps prepared by the United States Weather Bureau. Oh, this is like the worst comic ever. Ironically, I still like it better than what we read last week. Like, this one's at least informative and educational. I can get down with it. You know, it's like the most boring subject, but it's educational. The one last week, it was like weird Archie clone that the stories didn't even make sense. Fingerprints travel faster than criminals today, and many culprits have been arrested on their arrival to this country because of pictures and prints transmitted by radio photo. Well, if only we could use that today with people crossing the border. RCA radio photo service has often transmitted documents which are recognized in courts as legal evidence. So they're teaching technology and the legal system in a comic for children in the 1950s. Are they doing that today? No, it's all TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Was anybody reading this? That's a totally different story. I don't know. The novel special tape facsimile typewriter and transmitter helps track down international criminals and is also used by international airlines. Recently, for the first time in musical history, the first part of a musical score of Shostakovich was flashed by radio photo directly to New York from Moscow. Can't believe they allowed that. Dirty Reds. This pre-war combination sound broadcast and facsimile receiver in a few years may be seen in your own living room. Probably not. In addition to standard broadcasts, the receiver will deliver a facsimile edition of your favorite newspaper every day. Only one of the radio photo marvels in short for post-war America. So yes, this was definitely the 1950s because of the reference to post-war America. Oh, that's it. Thank goodness. So Father O'Malley, let's see what he's got going on. Let's get a taste of orange. We're glad to be back this year. What are the plans? Hello, boys and girls. Welcome, Father. Meet Father O'Malley, genial guide and advisor to St. Cecile's Catholic Youth Association. He's a good friend and a good worker. And the boys and girls respect and admire him. I feel like they should have shown that instead of just telling us. Anyways, plans for another year of activity by the club are well underway when let's hear about Mr. Chairman, I want to suggest something new. Let's hear about it. All right, Tom, what's your big idea? We have a lot of talent here. Let's put on a concert. Wonderful. Good idea. What do you think, Father? What's he think? This is your club, and I want you to run it. Why not form a committee? I nominate Tom Walsh. Wait a minute. We'll take a vote. The vote is taken. If I were appointed, I'd make Anne play for us. I appoint Tom Walsh to be chairman. Tom picks his committee, and they decide to meet in a week. Meanwhile, Father O'Malley visits a friend, Sister Mary Franks. Sister, we will need your help and advice on music. I will help. There is just one thing I wish. A former piano pupil, Anne Winslow, is a member. And you want her to try out? We'll see what can be done. Later, Sister Mary Frances talks to Anne's friend Jenny. But sister, it's a rule. Everyone has to volunteer. And Anne's too shy. We must figure out some way. Jenny meets Anne. I'd like to, Jenny, but we have no piano to practice, and I'm afraid. That's honestly a good reason. I feel like this comic more like tells you what the people are trying to say, but not what would reality be in a conversation. Saya, prayer and be at the meeting next week. What? At the meeting, Chairman Tom reports. The committee on the minstrel hour will report. There isn't any report because the answer is no. What do you mean, Tom? Tom explains his investigations. Programs cost money. No cakes, young man. I'm going away. Hire the hall, but no decorations. Can't sell you that much, no supply. That's why I say the answer is no. My orchestra's engaged that night. Well, there you go. Think of some new idea. The group asks Father O'Malley advice. Don't despair, Tom. We'll find a way. You're right, Father. I'll make another try. The club votes to go on with the plans. The vote is yes, and we'll all work to help Tom. Of course, I'll help Father. Meanwhile, you helped my brother. I'll help you. I'll change my date for you. Later, Father O'Malley talks with Sister Mary Frances. I didn't want to interfere. This must be their show. But a little help on the side is good, Father. When are the auditions? Oh, I think I get what they're doing. So, like, this is like an allegory for, God helping us, but it's, the priest is helping. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That night, the show's on. Everyone's said yes. All right, take a seat. Everybody who's first. The auditions for the preliminary concert are on. There ought to be more of you. At least more. At least more. Breathe. Next. I don't understand what that's supposed to even mean. Anne hasn't volunteered yet, Father. You speak to her. I can't. She has to make her own decision. She's wonderful if I only had the courage to try. Go on, Anne. Don't be afraid. But Anne waits. That's fine. Any more tryouts? Last chance. Anybody? Father O'Malley sticks to his decision not to interfere, but Sister Mary Frances, Sister, I'm afraid to try. Nonsense. You have talent. Now go ahead. Bob Baker, if only it was Barker, overhears Sister. He drags Anne to the piano. Go ahead, Anne. I'll try something Sister taught me. These are like talented kids. Like, everybody knows how to do something in this story. Father O'Malley knows Anne couldn't continue her musical studies because of her family's needs. He watches with interest, and so does Sister Mary Frances. Anne starts to play. That's very good. If you like pianists, say, but then her hand falter on the keys. I can't go on. No, keep playing. Finish it. Anne returns to the piano and finishes. She'll never make the show too nervous. I wonder what the judges will say. Why do they have judges? The judges make up the list of lucky performers. Okay. So everybody's trying their talents or whatever, and then the judges are saying, well, we're only going to do this for like an hour or two. So this is how many there are. That's 9 room for one more on the first part. I want Anne on the program. I know she can do it. All right, we'll take the chance. The list is announced and last minute plans are made. The big date for the minstrel concert draws near. I'm very happy but scared. You'll show them. Remember, Sister Mary and Father O'Malley are on your side too. Only 3 more to go. We ought to get a prize for doing this. Everybody's always wanting payment for doing something, huh? Let's see what's going on. The big night comes. Quite a few of our high school friends here too, Father. Good evening, Miss Bennett. Glad to be here. I know it'll be a good show. Curtain time. Welcome to our first concert, and thanks to everyone who helped us. Now, first on the program, Anne Winslow is the first performer. They say she has talent, but her family doesn't help her a bit. That seems rude. Ah, she's beginning. At the end of Anne's number, you were wonderful, Anne. I tried hard. I'll bet you get a prize. The concert continues and ends. Very glad you enjoyed it. This shows what our boys and girls can do. Soon we'll have another one in the high school. Excuse me, Father. The judge's decision. The audience waits for an important announcement. Good for you. First prize, Anne Winslow. I'm so happy. Anne receives another congratulations. I knew it. You'd do it, Anne. You had real courage. Thank you for believing in me. There's my parents. I want you to meet Sister Mary Frances. You were grand. Anne draws Sister aside from the group and confesses, I was so scared. And then I prayed. And something just helped me. My fingers come out right. And a final report. I'm proud of you all. I knew you could do it. Just as long as we have your help, St. Cecilia's CYO can't fail. And wait until our next show, Father. I like how in the previous, excuse me. So it's interesting in the previous page, they like slander the parents right here. But then like you look at them and you're like, man, they're like finely dressed and everything. You'd expect to see them like, you know, something completely absurd or something. Like poor or, you know, that's the way they made them sound the entire story of the parents of Anne. But yeah. So this is a pretty good story. I like how it's guidance from, you know, the Holy Spirit here. She prayed and then miraculously she just, you know, can play better than she previously could have, you know, because that's sometimes how it works. And yeah, pretty uplifting story, positive work, put on a show, everybody has a good time. There's a crossword puzzle. Let's see if we can figure one of these out. Calling on God to witness to the truth of what we say. I'm absolutely terrible at crossword puzzles, first off. So this is one down. Calling on God to witness to the truth of what we say. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was going to say gospel, but I don't know. I'm going to continue on. Ratty Pig. Is that the last story? No. We'll read it though. So we got this comic, honestly, might be the best one we've read so far, simply because it has a variety of different types of stories, and not well, at least the first two weren't bad. You know, they're written for children, so you got to scale them. And the message was actually good. Hard work, you'll succeed, that sort of thing. Okay. Gosh, I'm hungry, and I don't even have 1 cent. I wish there was some way I could promote some money. I could go I could go to work, but gosh, no, I'd rather starve. I feel like there's some sort of message here with a pig saying he'd rather starve than go to work. Golly, I'll get weaker with every step. Can't go any further. I'll just lay down here and die. Help, help. Someone's in a fix. I've got to go help them. Hold on, I'm coming, Glug. There. I've got you, little fella. But the current, it's too swift. It's got you too. Don't worry, I'm a good swimmer. Look ahead. Gosh, the falls. Well, this is it. Whoa. It's a traumatic story. Help again. Me too. Splash. Hold on. We're saved. I've caught this limb. Whew. Dry land. Who are you? I'm Patty Pig. I'm Spirit of Wishes. And for you saving my life, guess what? What? I'm going to grant you 3 wishes. Gosh. Let's see. First, I'd like all my clothes to be dry. Like, you just asked for time to go into the future, basically, because that's all that takes, bro. No sooner said than done. Gosh, a brand new dry suit of clothes. Yep. And now, let me have a whole basket of food. I mean, that's decent, you know. There. Bam. I don't see no food in there. Oh boy, I'm hungry. Ah, there. It's all gone. They didn't even tell. Like, now, I'm just interested in what the food was because I'm a foodie, right? I like to eat. I know I'm only eating oranges, but you know, trying to be healthy, and I like oranges. But you know, what was in that food basket? Tell me. Now, what is your last wish to be? I've got it. To let any wish I ask be granted. Yep. Is that it? That's the end. So, oh boy. They're basically making fun of the genies. The I want a million wishes gag. Okay. October is Rosary month. Oh, should I read this whole thing? What I'm going to do is I'm going to read this story. Ooh, King Arthur. I'm going to read the rest of the comics, and I may save this for a totally different video. Okay. Begone, filthy vagrant. You have no invitation, fox of the grapes. Stop pushing me, Mac. I wouldn't be seen in your broken down shack. Once upon a time there lived a fox. Ho hum, another day for me to shirk. He ho. I'll use my wits while foolish fellows are at work. I'm looking fine, and so I feel I'll go right out and steal a meal. So Mr. Fox sees a chance for a free meal. I just hate myself for stealing candy from a kid, but I take my food where I see it. Ouch! I nearly forgot. The doctor advises before you eat, take your exercise. That I don't even what is that supposed to mean? My luck is still with me. Look what I see. Bunches of grapes. This is food and drink for use. Oh my goodness. Look at how it's drawn. That's drawn just like the crumb meme, if you know what I'm talking about. Oh dear, I'm shorter than I should be. Except the crumb meme, where he's stepping really long like that, would have came like in the 60s. Oh dear, I'm shorter than I should be. I should get those new fangled elevator shoes. You don't have any shoes on. Woof, I'm eating dirt now and not grapes. This jumping around should do me good if I top it off with some real food. Ah, I got an idea. Yum, yum, yum. Munch, munch, munch. I'll eat those grapes bunch by bunch. I actually really like that. Whew. Wow. Gurgle, gurgle. A little later, I'm sure am the dope. Why didn't I think of a ladder before? I'll be eating grapes in another minute. Grapes so juicy, grapes so sweet, will fill me plenty as good as meat. All the noise has attracted the attention of the farmer who owns the grapevines. A thief, a crook, is stealing my grapes. I'll show him not to steal an honest man's fruit. Now he's getting shot. Gee whiz, I didn't want those grapes. They were all sour anyways. Of course, he's making excuses. I can hide that. I didn't see that before. Okay. Old Aesop used to say, the fox who couldn't reach the grapes said that the grapes were sour. What? That's the end of the story? Is this like some sort of parable or something I didn't know before? I feel like I'm missing something. King Arthur and his knights. That's a pretty dope picture, though. Famed King Arthur and his knights of the Round Table protected the innocent, slew the guilty, harbored the helpless, and searched for good to the end. All right. Let's see what we got here. Arthur of Britain seizes the sword of Excalibur and proves that he is indeed King of Britain. I am Excalibur, unto the king fair sworn. So I remember, oh, hello, last man. How are you doing? I remember the Disney cartoon of that, and I absolutely loved that as a kid. I can't remember what it was directly called, though. The heralds of the king hurry inform the assembly of nobles that King Arthur of Britain is dead, and that Arthur is next in line for the throne. Later, the assembly of nobles debates Arthur's right to the throne. Even so, Arthur is Uther's son and first in line for the throne. Let us pray for guidance. There you go. My Lord Bishop, Arthur is only 15, and these are trouble times. We do not think it fitting that a mere boy should become king. Lord, give us a sign that we may know who is to be king of this fair land. The stone of Excalibur suddenly and miraculously appears before the cathedral doors. Our sign from heaven. This stone was not here before. I mean, if it showed up looking like that, you'd be like, whoa, that would probably put you right on your behind. Mercy, it was not here before. That means that whoever is able to remove the stone from the sword from the stone will become king of Britain. Let me try. I'll remove it. I'll try too. So everybody tries to remove it. Next one. I actually want to. I'm going to have to save that panel later. That's like a dope panel. In the meantime, young Arthur attends at Squire to his foster brothers, Sir Kay. Ah, me. I were old enough for the lists, I too would like to break a lance. Sir Kay breaks his sword in combat and directs Arthur to fetch another. Arthur, run to my mother quickly and tell her that I would need my best sword. Aye, Sir Kay. That I will do promptly. A few minutes later. Well, there is a sword that will serve Sir Kay quite well. I will fetch it. Arthur easily removes the sword. What's it doing here? Anyway, I will take it to Sir Kay. Back at the list, Sir Kay receives the sword. And how did you come by this, Arthur? It was stuck in a large stone. I thought it would serve as well as an other, so I took it. Not a word of this to anyone. If someone should ask how we came by this sword, I will say that I alone withdrew it. Yeah, you should definitely do that, right? This looks like it was probably two different comics, because look how white this page is, and then like this one's brown. Later. And I say that I alone withdrew this sword from the stone. Since he who removes the sword becomes king, the deed must be done before witnesses. I will replace the sword, Sir Kay, and you will try again. The bishop's definitely not going to let shenanigans go on, right? He was smart. He goes, "Hey, we'll just witness it again." Sir Kay tries his strength on the imbued sword of Excalibur, but without success. I see, Arthur. I see, Arthur. I wish you to try and remove the sword. Yes, uncle. Arthur receives the sword of Excalibur. Arthur is hailed King of Britain. God has shown us the way. All hail King Arthur. Pretty fun story. Oh, is it still going on? Okay. Okay, we're jumping 10 years. Well, let me take a bite if we're going to take a break. 10 years. This ain't bad story. I mean, granted, it's adapting a previous story, but you still got to structure it, right? You got the great idea, King Arthur. Boom. All you have to do is adapt it. 10 years later, King Arthur and Merlin, the magician, ride forth to seek Princess Guinevere of Arthur's bride. Sir, Guinevere's father, King Leo, Leodegon, Leodegon, does not know we're coming on purpose. As you say, Merlin, so be it. So shall it be. When suddenly, sir, the pagans are attacking King Leodegon, and the Princess Guinevere is in danger. Forward with all dispatch. King Arthur and his men confront the pagan enemy and prepare for battle. From the walls of Carlamide, the Princess Guinevere watches and cheers as her unknown champion, King Arthur, fearlessly attacks the pagans and overthrows the giant Colog. Well, it's a good thing they got rid of the pagans. Here we go. After the battle, King Leodegon thanks King Arthur and offers him anything he might wish for. We already know. We already came to do this. Oh, strange knight, through I don't know who you are, you may have anything in my kingdom you may desire. I wish to receive your daughter, Guinevere, for my bride. You are speaking to Arthur of Britain. Lord, your wish is granted. Guinevere is your queen. A short while later, King Arthur hears about the giant of St. Michael's Mount. Sir Knight, help, there is a fearful giant who is carrying off the people and killing everyone. Bring me to where the giant haunts. King Arthur meets the giant. Oh, sir, this giant is about to slay me. I have to settle this cantif. King Arthur fights and mounts the giant of St. Michael's Mount. And giant seizes Arthur and attempts to crush him to death. All right, so one last page. Sir Arthur finally kills the giant of St. Michael's Mount. Looks like he stabs him right in the face. After the battle, the wizard Merlin comes to King Arthur. Oh, sir, how can I thank you enough? Don't let it concern you, lady. The deed is done. I have broken my sword. Oh, come with me, and I will show you a sword that shall be yours. The Lady of the Lake appears and presents a sword to King Arthur. There is a sword I spoke of. Get into the barge and row out for it. It's Excalibur. Truly, this sword is my kingship. I may not lose it. How did he lose it in the first place? They didn't show that. A short while later, on the road to Caerleon, it is a wonder. Tell me, Merlin, who is the Lady of the Lake? Never fear, Arthur. You will meet her again, and then you will know. Well, there you go. That was a fun story. That's probably the best, simply because the ideas were already there, and all they had to do was adapt it to a comic. That's probably been the best story that we've read, like the 3 or 4 times that we've read comics on this channel. So I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then we'll come back and read The Adventures of Sir Galliard. Whoop. Let me mute this. I'm back. VMRE. Good idea to mute the mic. That's right. You never know what I'm going to yell across the room or what sort of actually I should probably tell my wife when I stream, but she doesn't know, so she might say something and then the mic catches it, and then who knows what sort of weird conversation gets caught on. The Adventures of Sir Galahad. King Arthur's knights search for the Holy Grail, but Sir Lancelot's son of Galahad alone is permitted to see the Grail, and having seen it is overcome. Sir Galahad, the good knight, arrives at King Arthur's court. My lord, this is my son, Sir Galahad. He is welcome. For today the round table departs on the search for the Holy Grail, which we hear is at present in Britain. Well, it's a good thing it's at Britain. It's like it's like when something's doing a tour. We hear it's in Britain. Let's go and see, and we can go venerate it. And I know that never again will I see you all together. Therefore, I give you my blessings. Farewell, my knights of the Round Table. All right, what do we got going on here? You got a bunch of horses. That's the only decent panel on the whole thing. Okay. Let me open another beer. Let me see which one I want. This one's like the one I'm drinking now is smooth. This one's pale ale. Okay. I got one of those variety packs, They're just so great. A few days later, Sir Galahad enters upon his quest. Here is an abbey. I will ask directions and see who those horses belong to. Sir Galahad finds King Balgamus and Sir Iwanove, two knights of the court. Sirs, what adventures brought you here? It is told that within this place is a shield which no man may bear unless he is worthy. But I fear not to bear it, and that you will see tomorrow. The next morning, King Balgamus Bagdamus, Bagmagus. Probably still wrong. Accepts the sacred shield. So there's no even adventure. It's just he accepts it. Like I read this thinking the whole story was going to be about this shield. Now he's got it. Outside the king Bagmagus. It's getting worse the more I say it. Decides to test the shield on a strange knight who has suddenly galloped up. Watch how I fare. As King Bagmagus quickly falls under the white knight's onslaught. The white knight presents the sacred shield to Sir Galahad. He had no right to wear it. Sir, can you tell me the marvel of the shield? The shield belonged to the gentle knight Joseph of Arimathea. When he was about to die, he said that no man could bear this shield without repenting it. Until the time Sir Galahad, the good knight, bears it, who shall do many marvelous deeds. Okay, there we go. Now we know it's going to happen. A while later, Sir Lancelot and Sir Percival came upon the disguised Sir Galahad. Here is a fine looking knight approaching. Yes, let us put him to the test. Sir Lancelot is unhorsed for the first time in his life by his son, Sir Galahad, who is protected by the sacred shield. Sir Percival receives the same treatment and quickly unhorsed by Sir Galahad. Strange, that never happened to me before. There's something strange about that night. Yeah, something strange. A short while later, Sir Percival parts company with Sir Lancelot and comes upon a strange group of men. Whence come you, knight? I am from the court of King Arthur. He's from Arthur's court? Kill him! But we must all attack at once. The evil men at arms rush in and kill Sir Percival's horse as Sir Percival vigorously defends himself, though greatly outnumbered. The evil men at arms close in for the kill as Sir Percival prepares to sell his life dearly. Sir Percival receives a thrust in the arm as Sir Galahad suddenly appears. So it's like 10 on 1. He gets knocked off his horse. His horse runs off. Sir Galahad, probably seen that, comes running, and he gets stabbed right when Sir Galahad shows up to the fight. Let's see what happens. Sir Galahad charges the evil men at arms who were attacking Sir Percival. After rescuing Sir Percival, Sir Galahad rides swiftly off without revealing his identity. Stop! Who are you? That made me think about Twitter. Like when some Anon account says something somebody doesn't like, and the person that is the like my account, Philip Cummings. Who are you? How dare you say something behind a fake name? Okay. In the meantime, Sir Lionel's brother, Sir Bohort, conducts his search for the Holy Grail. Okay, so we went from somebody getting stabbed now to the Holy Grail. I wonder where my brother, Sir Lionel, is. I know he can't be far away. What's that caravan beyond the bend? Is that guy naked? Suddenly, Sir Bohort comes upon his brother, Loniel, and finds that he is being beaten by two strange knights. Sir, or if I let my brother be, he will be slain. And if I help not this maiden, I am ashamed forever. I am ashamed forever. Fair Lord, help Sir Loniel, my brother, that he will not be slain, while I save this maiden. Sir, by the faith that you owe to knighthood, help me. All right, Sir Bohort kills the abusive knight and rescues the gentle woman. Oh, thank you, sir. Won't you come with me to my parents and let them thank you too? No. Gentle lady, my brother has disappeared and I must find him. This comic is I've got to say, this is the funnest comic I've read live, and this is dope. Oh, well, we'll set that right there. A short distance away, Sir Bohort suddenly comes upon Sir Loniel, seemingly none the worse for the strange experience. Ah, brother, when did you come here? I thought. Sir Bohort, make no false show. I might have been slain, for you left me in peril to go save that woman. For that I assure you death, for you deserve it. Leap upon your horse and keep yourself. Brother, you don't understand. Do not do this. Sir Bohort reluctantly decides to fight his brother when suddenly, flee, Sir Bohort, and touch him not. Sir Bohort, take your way to the sea, for Sir Galahad and Sir Percival wait you there. Is that like from God? Anyways, let's see what goes on next. How many pages are there left of this story? That's the last page. Okay. A short while later, Sir Bohort meets Sir Galahad and Sir Percival at a British seaport. Welcome, sirs. You have been appointed to accompany me on this vessel. Please ask no questions. On board the vessel, the knights see the casket containing the Holy Grail. So we didn't even get a real Holy Grail story. We got some random, like, brother getting kidnapped, got to go save the maiden, and now the brother's going to kill you story. And the real story that you want to know about, the Holy Grail, well, that one didn't get told to you. You got to go read a different comic. Sir Galahad sees the Holy Grail and is allowed to touch it reverently. I am Joseph of Arimathea. I have been sent because I resemble you in two things. That is, I too have seen the Holy Grail, and I too am as clean as the lamb. Sir Galahad is overcome after seeing the Holy Grail. Sir Percival, you have been chosen to accompany me to Jerusalem. Sir Bohort returned to the king with our compliments. Sir Galahad the Prue is spared to continue his good deeds, sails on to Jerusalem. They have sailed today. I shall miss them, two of the finest knights in my court. There you go. That was a decent story. I had a great time with it until the very end, where they tried to loophorn back the Holy Grail. Oh, look at that. I'm going to post that on Twitter in a minute. Okay, let's see what they have here. These are notes. Catholic Comics number 5. I'm having a hard time trying to read this. Bill Brown. Okay, so it has names, but I don't see creators' names, which was what I was specifically looking for. Okay, so we'll ride an auto plane soon. Okay, I'm going to read this here in a second. Okay, let's see what we got here. You got the this is like this reminds me of the Jetsons, except less aesthetically pleasing, if that makes sense, but that's what it kind of reminds me of. An auto airplane that flies the air, rides the highways is coming. No, it's not. Ted Hall has invented a practical one built by Willis Brown, talked about by scientific publications, and soon to become a common sight. The rotatable plane or autoplane can shed its wing and travel as an automobile. Wing and tail can be detached at end of a flight. So converting to an auto, wing and tail bolted for flying, car weighs 938 pounds, autoplane 1,860 pounds. For mechanics can convert auto in 10 minutes. Inventor Hall during World War II worked for Southern Aircraft Plant and consolidated Volte's. He's an expert at making plane parts. An unusual feature of this machine is that it contains 3 wheels, 2 in the rear and 1 in the front. It has 4 gear shifts. It's all aluminum. Which the aluminum part makes it makes it not heavy. Lighter so that it can fly. The autoplane drives more than 60 miles per hour, flies more than 110 miles per hour. Travelers will find various makes of plane mobiles in a few years and use them conveniently. 30 miles to the gallon as car. That's actually really good. 15 miles to the gallon as plane. That's not as good, but you're flying faster. So, if I don't hurry, I'll miss that train. This will be eliminated with the autoplane, for a man will have his own car and plane and not need to worry about timetables. I wonder if this was actually, I don't know how you would search for that. You'd need to do like, let me Google some stuff real quick. Autoplane NX571. See what that brings up. Images. Okay, that doesn't bring anything. So I'd have to like sit down and like research this to do anything else, and I don't feel like doing that. So that's not the end of the book. So I want to read. It's 2 pages, actually probably 4, because 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been going for an hour and a half. We'll read these 2 pages about Rosary Month, which is in October, and then we'll finish it. That'll be the whole comic. So, if the one person that seems to be watching right now, I hope you enjoy. Take a little orange taste. I saw staff like that car plane several times every 10 years in TV. It kind of reminds me of like Back to the Future, except the Mandalorian's a Star Wars. The McLaurin, he obviously worked that car was obviously was it Ford? Or, yeah, it's definitely a stupid idea. What was the car that was on Back to the Future, and it was named after the person that was like CEO for a time of, I believe it was Ford. I'd have to do Google to, make sure I'm correct. Anyways, let's read this and then we'll finish for the day. October is Rosary Month. Our Lady, must like to have this month come around, as in the thoughts of her children on earth are drawn toward her divine Son by the resuscitation of the Rosary. As the Creed, Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Gloria rise to heaven, they form a garland of roses very pleasing to Our Lady and to her divine Son. She knows that while we are saying these prayers, we are thinking about the events of our Lord's life, and this makes her very happy. All mothers like to speak to other people about their children. They like to tell of the time when the children were young and of the wonderful things they did as they grew older. They like to find people interested in all that they have to tell. Mary is like all mothers. She too wants to have people know about her son's childhood with all its joyous events, of his later life when he suffered and was sorrowful, and of the wonderful glories of his risen life. She desires to have us think of these events, as we do when we say the rosary in the right way. She even came down from heaven to tell the people about the rosary and to beg them to think about the life of Jesus, her son. This is how it happened. One day, a long time ago, a priest was kneeling before the shrine of Mary. His name was Dominic. He was sad because so many people were turning away from God. And he prayed to Our Lady to tell him some way of winning these people back to God. Suddenly, the Blessed Virgin appeared before him. She consoled him. She told him to teach the people how to say the prayers on the beads. It was an easy way to pray. First, they must say the Apostles' Creed. That would show that they had faith in God. Then they would say a certain number of times the Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Gloria. While they were saying these prayers, she explained that they must think of the events of Jesus' life, of the joyful events, of the sorrowful events, and of the glorious events. They promised Dominic that the people would soon be converted. After seeing Our Lady, Dominic felt much happier. Right away, he began to preach to the people. He gave them rosary beads and taught them how to recite the rosary. Before long, the churches were too small to hold the crowds who came to hear him, and Dominic had to preach out in public spaces. Our Lady's words had come true. She knew that if the people would take a little time to think over what our Lord had done for them, they would soon stop committing sins and would become good Christians again. What is still more wonderful, Dominic began to preach to the army of the Catholic general Simon de Fomont. At that time, an army of wicked men had begun to attack the Catholic army. Simon had only 800 horsemen in his army, while the wicked general Raymond de Toulouse had 40,000. I mean, that's quite a difference there, right? Dominic told the soldiers to say the rosary before the battle. The soldiers laid their weapons on the ground and took the rosary beads in their rough hands. When they finished their rosary, they felt brave and confident. The general gave the order to advance. The soldiers jumped on their horses, raised their spears, and rushed against the enemy. The attack was so sudden that the enemy army was unprepared. The leader was killed, and the rest of the army was easily defeated. Everyone said that this was a miracle. Dominic went to different parts of Europe. He taught the people what Our Lady had explained to him. Before he died, 100,000 people had returned to the Catholic Church. All this was due to the Rosary. 300 years later, another battle was fought. This time was at sea battle between the Christians and the Turks. The Christians had a cross on their banners, and the Turks had a crescent. So the battle was called the Battle of the Cross and of the Crescent. During the battle, the Pope and many people were saying the Rosary for victory. The ships were arranged in two lines facing each other. At the signal, the ships rushed each other. The clash was terrible, and soon some of the ships began to sink. No one knew which side was winning. They kept on fighting all day. The night came. The wavering banners had them on the sign of the cross. The Christians had won. The Pope was very grateful to Our Lady for the victory. Later on, the Pope ordered that the first Sunday of October should be called Rosary Sunday. In our times, as in the time of St. Dominic, people are turning away from God. Our Blessed Mother is still interested in her children on earth. However, and she wants them to turn to the Rosary again. Once more, she has appeared on earth. This time she did not appear to a priest, but the three shepherd children near the village of Fatima in Portugal, which is, I actually have a Fatima rosary, and it's my favorite. I think because of the turquoise. Also, I used to have a comic that had the I'll get into that later. Anyways, where was I? On a Sunday morning in May 1917, the three children started out for the day's work of caring for their parents' sheep. Lucia, age 10, and her cousins Francisco, age 9, and Jonctia, age 7, were healthy, cheerful, friendly children, always ready for fun and adventure. Toward noon of the day, a bright flash of lightning startled them. Then came a second flash. They started toward home, but something made them turn toward the lightning. They saw a beautiful lady standing above a small tree. They were frightened, but they did not run away. The lady spoke to them in a sweet and gentle voice. She told them to say the rosary every day and to say it properly. Lucia spoke to her, but Francisco and Janctia did not. After a while, the lady told them to come back on the 13th of every month until October, when she would have a special message for them. They promised that they would come. Then the lady moved slowly to the east and went up toward heaven. The leaves and the trees which she had been standing remained bent where her garments had trailed over them. For four more months, the beautiful lady appeared to the children on the day set. No one else saw her except the children, although crowds of people went to the place. Finally, on October 13th, she appeared even more bright, and beautiful than before. Lucia asked her who she was, and she said, I am the Lady of the Rosary. I have come to warn the faithful to amend their lives and to ask pardon for their sins. They must not continue to offend our Lord, already so deeply offended. They must say the Rosary. Then she disappeared. That was the last time the children saw her. From that time on, they said the Rosary faithfully every day. They also asked their relatives and friends to say the Rosary, especially the family Rosary. Francisco and Janctia died a few years later. When Lucia grew up, she became a sister. She is still living. Her name is Sister Maria Lucia of Dolores. She still repeats Our Lady's message, say the Rosary, every day. The message of Our Lady of Fatima is for the whole world. The message was first given to children, and it seems as though Our Lady of the Rosary depends on children to carry the message elsewhere. Here in the United States, a junior club has been organized for children who want to carry out Our Lady's wishes. It is called the Fatima Club. It has special rules. Each club must have a president and a secretary. The meetings of the club must always open and close with the recitation of the act of contrition to the Blessed Mother. Every month, the club must send a report of its doings to the central office. Each member must promise to say at least one decade of the Rosary every day. Each member must also try to spend its devotion among relatives and families. Finally, each member must wear a medal of Our Lady of Fatima. This is the badge of the club. The booklets explaining the club are free. They may be obtained by writing to the central office, Reverend Joseph Selica of St. Anthony's Welfare Center, 443 East 135 Street, New York, 54, New York. Our Lady still loves her children on earth. She still desires to have them come back to her divine Son. Never before in history of the world has there been a greater need of Mary's help. So many people have turned away from God. There is so much suffering because of wars and the fear of war. People cannot find peace and contentment. Our Lady, in her message to the children, held out the promise of assistance to the world. She said, when my immaculate heart triumphs, the world will have peace. Her plea is that her children will recite the Rosary every day. Our Lady kept her promise to Saint Dominic, and she will keep her promise to us if we do our part. There you go. Say the Rosary every day. Contemplate the life of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, and the world will be at peace. There you go. I like it. And in this 2 pages, it has, the joyous mysteries, the sorrowful mysteries, the glorious mysteries. St. John Paul II, he instituted, while he was Pope, the luminous mysteries, which includes the baptism, the wedding. I'm probably drinking too much because now I'm trying to think about what it was. The baptism, the wedding, the transfigurations, and the Eucharist. So I'm missing one. It's in between the Transfiguration. The Beatitudes. There we go. So there you go. Yeah, say the rosary every day. Here's my rosary. Actually, I usually say the rosary when I'm in the car. So I have my rosary right here. I don't take it with me because I'm driving, but I like saying the rosary and thinking about Jesus while I'm driving around. And I don't listen to the radio. I used to love listening to the radio, and now I pray while I'm driving around. So that's what I do. I'd like to hear what you guys do while you're driving around. When do you pray? Do you pray at all? Have you ever thought about praying? I'll be honest. Before this year, which I've been, slowly, I read the Bible. I decided I wanted to be Catholic. And then I found out you had to do more than proclaim you're Catholic. So I've done that. I've started reading about Catholicism more and more. And the big thing was, I always thought praying was stupid because, through my whole life, I thought, God knows what I want. So why would I pray? If he knows what I want, he knows I love him. So then he can provide me for what I need. And, that sounds good and all, but the reality is God doesn't need us to pray to him. The praying is not for God. The praying is for us, which I didn't realize, right? So I actually saw a video and it clicked with me like this for some reason. And it was like, pray the rosary every day, just like this says. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. So I downloaded, I looked up the rosary. And I didn't have a rosary at that point in time, but I go, I'll try it out, see how it goes. And I really liked it. So I looked up the rosary. I downloaded Hallow the app, and it has different people actually reciting the rosary. And that's how I learned it, was reciting it with somebody else. And I really like it because you really just think about the situation that Jesus is in whatever mystery you're thinking about during that point in time. And I really like it. I see people slander it or say that it's demonic. And I'm like, when somebody says that the rosary is demonic, first off, look at the rosary. First off, there's a cross right here. And it says pray for us. You want Jesus. You want Mary to pray for you. Who's Mary? Theotokos, right? The God bearer. Mary's or Jesus's mother. So you want her to pray for you. That's the closest person to him. And then he's going to be the intercessor to the Father. So you're thinking about God, you're praying, you're meditating on this stuff, and it's just a honestly super close thing in my opinion. I love it, and I agree with everything that was in this page. So I want to finish my beer and then probably go to sleep. So I'm going to bid you guys adieu, and I hope you enjoyed the comic and me reading the thing about the rosary and my own insight in it. So see you guys later.